determined to cultivate a vibrant subtropical industry by sharing expertise. One. To share the knowledge. We absolutely would like more growers growing bananas.
So the word karma comes from the root word called kri. Kri means performing an action. Okay. Performing an action, and as we go back to the roots on a soul level, atma level, when soul decides to reincarnate in this life, then it comes under the effect of three qualities, the three gunas, which are tamagun, rajagun and satagun. Basically, these are the three forces that helps the reincarnated soul to experience the world as is, and also choose a path to liberate itself from any attachments or bondages. So in a layman language, the tamogun, the black or dark energy, is the inertia that stops you going forward. Okay? It makes you stationary. And Rajagun is that force that forces you, that pushes you for the moment. It forces you to go forward. And Satogun is that wise intellect, the pragya, which is used by other two gunas to perform their duties. So in a way, let us say when you come in the evening time, you have to sleep. So tamogun is at best that puts you in a sleep or makes your body tired, and you take rest and self-heal while you sleep, while you are sleeping. Rajoguna is the one that wakes you up in the morning and asks you to go and perform your duties and earn bread and butter for your survival, for your family, or let us say the energy, that passion that gives you the motivation to do something. And Satoguna is that wisdom that is used to liberate yourself from the bondages that you have created during your tamagun and your satagun. Basically, in our Sanatan Dharma, we call this as Mahadurga, the consciousness, the supreme consciousness that embodies these three gunas, tamagun, rajagun and satagun. Tamagun, we deem that power that controls the tamagun as Mahakali. Okay. So people who are in that where tamogun is very big in their life, they tend to have a problems in alasya, laziness and ignorance. Okay? They will struggle to leave the bed in the morning. Especially take the example of teenagers. The tamogun is a lot. So basically they just want to have exit of or let their sexual energies go out and then they sleep. That is the animal nature, Pashu Vritti. So when we go into certain mode in our life, the tamogun, when it gets purified, the person gets a balanced sleep and doesn't have problem in leaving the bed in the morning. Then comes the Rajaguna. Rajaguna, we portray it as a red color, and it's a color of Mahalakshmi Devi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity in our lives. So that is a passion that motivates you to go and do something. But when this Mahalakshmi or passion in life, when it goes into the crazy mode, the person becomes, the person not only goes out to earn bread and butter, but the greed also comes in. And then the power control issues comes in. Then the anger comes in. Then the selfish comes in. This is all the negative sides of the Rajoguna. Right? And then the Satoguna, which is deemed as a white color, performing everything. White is what? All the sun rays comes, falls on the surface, and nothing gets absorbed. Everything is reflected back, so that thing shines the white color. That means you allow everything, but you do not hold on to it without attachment. So Satoguna is that intellect, the Pragya Buddhi, that allows you to perform your karmas without getting attached to it. So a person or a reincarnated soul must have a balance of all these three. So these are the three Devis, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati. And when these qualities are present in one, especially let us say in this body is a castle, and in castle in Sanskrit it is deemed as a Durga. So the one who lives, who protects this Durga, protects this castle, is called Durga. So we represent Durga, Ma Durga, as the supreme mother or consciousness that controls all these three gunas. So out of all these three gunas, then the mind gets activated, your intellect gets activated, your mind gets activated, and from the mind the sense organs are outwardly into the world and start performing actions. And with that, all the miseries also start coming with the experience, all the heartbreak starts coming, and this is how we create more karmas. So this is basically about how the soul decides to reincarnate in the body, and under the influence of Maya or delusion, and with the effect of three gunas, then the soul, the reincarnated soul, which is now called a Jiva, gets busy in the outer world. Whereas the job is, by performing the karma, we must detach ourselves from the world, from these attachments, from the desires, and actually use these sense organs to go within and liberate ourselves and merge with the divine. That is self-illumination or self-realization. So in a nutshell, this is what karma is.
Okay, so thank you, Guruji. That was amazing to listen to how the three gunas interact, because often in textbooks or when we read about the gunas, we kind of understand the theory. There is the Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Sattva and so on, but to have the kind of connections to what they control. So, for example, Tamaguna means, you are in that lazy mode, and the downside of being lazy is procrastination. You're not actually performing any actions that you're supposed to, and it's controlled by Ma Kali. So, to see those connections to hear those connections is really useful. So, we will come back to this in some time. What is then Karma Yoga, Guruji? What is karma? Is this a soul as some bonding and it's experiencing some actions in this world? So then what is Karma Yoga?
See, we have to first understand that this is made up of two words, which is one is karma and one is yoga. Karma, as we have discussed, it's performing an action. Now, actions are not just the physical actions. We perform actions by manasa, vacha, karmana. Three actions we perform. So, the actions of physical body, actions of vacha, actions of speech, and manasa, the actions of mind. So when we perform actions with these three modes, okay, that is performing an action. Yoga in the Sanskrit, it's a symbol of unification or plus sign. Okay. So when we are into the state of yoga, means we are in a state of unification. That is yoga. When we connect our self to the Supreme, that is a state of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Yogastha Kuru Karmami in the Bhagavad Gita, the Krishna ji says, yoga is not just performing the bodies and all, it is a state of unification with the divine. Now, not just the divine,
Mm-hmm.
people under the influence of illusion or Maya, they have created a yoga with the devils as well.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it is a unification with anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to unify with the divine thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
or you can choose to unify with the devilish thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, actions of body, they are limited, because if my body is up to here, I can only perform actions up to where my body and the limbs can go. Small. Actions of speech, they go further, where I'm speaking and my sound can travel to maybe some distance. So it is limited to that. But actions of mind, they have a far-reaching effect. And it is said that when the soul or reincarnate body or a jiva dies, then the actions performed with the mind goes with us, the
Oh.
real karmas. They have a far-reaching effect. I give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let us say two people are having argument, and one person is really angry. He is thinking, I want to slap this person. Okay? So, and he gets up and he slaps the person. So that is action performed. Okay. Then he might realize, okay, I apologize, or the other person might slap it back. So one and one. But some two people are having an argument and bringing all their past and disappointments and using the tongue to really two as swords to cut the person. That enters in the memory of the other person of this body. Okay, so people tend to remember things even after 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. Right? But it is still subject to the memory loss, because it is happening in this reincarnated life. People tend to forget, or people tend to remember. So actions performed by speech are have far more reach than actions performed by the body. But imagine if somebody has said something to you for 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and you are still going crazy in your mind thinking about that. The memory is still fresh. And on the deathbed also, I have seen people, 75, 80 years old beings, they still talk about what happened in the teenage years, and they get full with the anger and disappointments and jealousy and revenge. And when they die, those are the impressions of mind, the sanskaras. It creates the sanskaras of the mind and psychic impressions, and they travel with us. As soon as the jiva leave the body, if somebody is angry, because now the anger was controlled within the body, the physical body, but when the jiva leaves the body, now there is no physical body, so all that anger which was in the subtle body, it gets 1,000 times bigger. So this is how the soul then goes into the different realms, because of the actions performed by the mind. And whoever you are unified with, that is the state of yoga.
Right.
So if, for example, if I want to connect to the Supreme Being, I will use this body, and I will use the breath, and I will use the God or Creator as my target. So body, mind and breath, these three needs to align to reach to where I want to go. And of course with the guidance. And this is how in this journey then we need a master or a guru to see if you are sitting and which way you are going. So let us say this soul is an arrow. Okay? And this body is that bow. With the power of mind, that's a string. You launch yourself and you go. And now, wherever that arrow is going, whatever your target is, some people use this unification to harm others. They are so focused, they can't stop themselves and harm. So, they are in the unification with that dimension. Yogis, we say that be in the unification of the higher ones, and that is where you go. So, the yoga is not a position, it's a state of unification.
Right.
So karma yoga means when we perform actions and we become unified with the actions, that is a state of unification.
I get it.
So karma yoga, in Lord Krishna says karma yoga means that you become so much in that karma and you and karma become one and the illumination happens.
Right. So again, it's amazing. Like some of the things that you're going in depth are really fascinating. It's like unpeeling a lot of layers, making it really easy to understand. So I would want to know whether they are in the karma yoga unification process or not. Like someone like me who's like a family man, has families, commitments, work, so embedded in mundane things. What will be the point where I think is is there a point where people can realize that, oh, I'm now not just doing karma, but I'm in the karma yoga mode. What's the where does that point or the boundary comes?
It is impossible to stay in this world without performing the action. Okay, people don't understand that. Okay, by not doing anything, this was one of the question that Arjuna asked Bhagwan Krishna, that if I go and fight my own family, I will create karma. So it's better not to do anything and I sit there.
That's right.
Right. So that is when Lord Krishna says, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, that perform your action, perform your karmas without getting attached to the fruits and stay detached to your actions. So when anyone is performing karma in the world, and in return he is getting attached, how we experience the world is we have our 5 sense organs and the organs of actions, the speech and the limbs and all that, karmendriya and jnanendriyas. We perform actions, but when we are attached to the outcome of that, then we create karmas in ourselves.
Right.
But Lord Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna Vasudev says that when you are performing the actions, you don't worry about the results of that. You just perform actions without attachment, staying in the unification with me. And at that moment, when people are performing actions in the material world, there is no harm in performing actions. But as a result, when they are taking that so personally and the disappointments comes, the anger will come, the greed will come, the delusion will come, the possessiveness will come. Now that karmas they have performed became a reason for their misery. Versus if they have understanding that why are they performing this action, what is the purpose of this action, when they get a deeper understanding, knowing that nothing is in their control, they are just doing their duty, things will happen, and they sit in their self with a peace of mind, staying unified with that work. That is a karma yoga. One will bring misery in your life, one will bring peace in your life. So for example, you would have read in Facebook or any other social media, apparently, when people say, somebody asked Buddha, what is the difference between enlightenment, before enlightenment and after enlightenment? And the Buddha replied, before enlightenment, chop wood, bring water. After enlightenment, chop wood, bring water. Now, any common person will say,
What?
if it is the same thing,
Hmm.
why do I have to go to so much pain? Right?
That's right.
But there is a difference.
Hmm.
Difference, although chop wood, bring water remains same
Hmm.
before and after enlightenment.
Hmm.
But when the yogi says this, you need to be in that awareness to understand what he actually meant.
Hmm.
Before the enlightenment, the mind is very active.
Hmm.
When you are performing your physical action, your mind is also performing some actions.
Hmm.
Maybe during chopping the wood, you are chopping someone's head as well. You're taking the anger out on the wood and cursing someone, or so many stories going on, or this is happening in my house, or I don't have
Yeah.
the food,
Yeah.
now I have to go to work. Why do I have to do all this? It's only me taking the pain to do all these things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And bringing the water means, yeah, I'm taking over this, my neck is getting painful, this world is painful, and I can't live my life like this.
Yeah.
But when people see that man, they will say, he's chopping the wood, he's bringing the water.
Hmm.
But inside the person, he is chopping so many things, and he's bringing so many stories with him when he's bringing the water.
Hmm.
But after the enlightenment, the person is so much at peace that when he is chopping the wood, he is only chopping the wood,
Hmm.
one action.
Hmm.
And when he's bringing the water, he's only bringing the water. In fact, he and chopping the wood or bringing the water, he's so much into it that he becomes that action,
Hmm.
the unification of actions. He's bringing the water, he and the pot becomes one. There is only one story walking at a time.
Hmm.
So, so now if we understand this before and after enlightenment, before when say chop wood bring water, after enlightenment only chop wood, only bring water.
Hmm.
That is karma yoga in a nutshell.
Hmm.
People
Hmm.
who don't have understanding, when they're performing karma, there's so much going on, their body is doing something else, their mouth is saying something else, and the mind is saying something else.
Hmm.
And after karma yoga, the body is completely into that task. That
Hmm.
is the highest unification. If you see a small children, even they are tearing the paper, they are having a so much joy, they are completely, the body is there, the mind is there, absolutely one with the paper, and they are enjoying that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
integrated
Hmm.
state inside is a unification.
Hmm.
Wherever you want to unify, it
Hmm.
will manifest.
Hmm. 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 That's amazing. Like again, like there is so much, so much here to sit and reflect on. One of the things is like how Bhagavan Krishna is saying, Arjuna, that do your karma, but don't expect the results. But it's really fascinating because it's quite opposite to what we are being taught in this modern world. Because often, when you're writing your CV or portfolio or studying, it's always about I'm doing this. You need to do this because the fruit is there, because the carrot is in front of you. You're always thinking about the outcome, and you're asked to think about what you're going to be in next 5 years time. So start building now. So it's always about those targets and the fruit rather than the process of the journey that you're talking about. Are you becoming one with your action, which is
Yes.
which is really kind of at odds with how we are experiencing modern society and life. Is there any how do we balance
What,
this?
see, Keshav ji, yes, when we are writing the CV, when we are in the world, we are performing our duties, but we must understand what is the purpose of one, a purpose of life. What is the purpose of my life comes later part in life. But let's say question is, why am I doing it? What is the purpose of me applying for the job? The purpose is so I can look after my family, I can look after myself. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And for that, what do I have to do? I have to get a job. What do I have to do to get the job? I have to write my CV.
Mm,
I have to sell myself. Now here you are focused completely on the purpose, not on the process. Okay.
Yeah.
And with this, when the Chanakya says, okay, how to go out there and gain, and he said, Samadama Danda Bheda, that the 4 ways of winning your enemies and getting things done, but remaining detached at the same time. Sama means you become friends with the other person and you're doing it. Okay. Dama, you want to give the money, say, so he can do my work. Try to buy that person. Then if you don't do it, you are allowed to punish that. Okay, like bosses will punish you. Now bosses are not your enemies who will punish you, because they are doing their job. And Bhed means divide and rule. So if all the team is against the boss will go. So boss will try to give them a separate work. So he rules. But if
supposed to
here we need to
from the
understand
world, from these attachments, from the desires,
what is the purpose of me doing the job.
use these self
So I can support my life.
and liberate ourselves and merge with the divine.
And why do I have to support my life? So I can achieve the purpose of my life. My purpose of life is not to earn the
This
money.
is what comes.
My purpose of life is to first understand what is life, what am I
It was
doing
amazing.
here. So I feel happy, the permanence of happiness and joyfulness and peace within me. Right? We are in schools or in life or by society is not taught to ask this question, what is the purpose of life? What am I doing here? Who am I? Instead, we are taught, I am a man and you are a woman. I am qualified and you are not. So if I get more schooling, nice job, I will have nice house, nice car, wealthy, I will be rich, and people will be respecting me. I will become more powerful. That is a subconscious journey. Whereas the Guru says, no, no, no. You need to turn your consciousness in. Who are you? I am a soul. What are you doing here? I have reincarnated in this body to realize the self while I am living, and for that I have to support this life to experience the world, and for that I have to earn money, and for that I have to study, and for that I have to do XYZ actions. So just by changing the purpose, who am I? You can't say I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a physiotherapist, or I'm a scientist. Who are you? These are the identities of the body, but you are not the body. Today, if someone chops my hand off, and people will not say that, okay, Guruji is sitting there. Will say Guruji's hand or Keshav's hand, right? So where is Keshav sitting in the body? So is Keshav body or it is Keshav's body? So these tools out there to earn the money is to support your life. Earning money is not life. Earning big house, big car is not life. These are the tools to support the life. But what is life? When you have nothing to do, you have a good bank balance, you have a beautiful family, things are getting done, and you are sitting on the couch, then what are you thinking? What are you doing to yourself is your life. But people hardly get time to actually reflect on that. So they remain busy. They think that, okay, that is what my life is. Working is my life. Looking after this is my life. Going out there is my life. Eating is my life. Cooking is my life. No, that is not the life. Life is beyond all of this. Life is what you do to yourself when there is nothing else there. Hardly a moment comes. Hardly a moment comes in life.